On this Earth, there are places that never appear on travel maps. There are no direction signs, no guided tours, only steel fences, surveillance cameras, and cold warning signs. These are completely restricted zones, where humans are forbidden to enter not because of war, but because of hidden dangers or secrets that have never been widely revealed. What makes these places frightening is not their appearance. Many of them look completely peaceful. But deep inside, they carry stories strong enough to make anyone feel uneasy. Location 1. Snake Island, Brazil off. The coast of Brazil, surrounded by the deep blue waters of the Atlantic Ocean, there exists a small island that has almost been forgotten by the world. From above, it looks like a lush green patch floating in the vast ocean. Dense trees cover the ground, and the sea breeze creates a calm and almost inviting atmosphere. At first glance, no one would suspect that this island is among the most strictly restricted areas under Brazilian government control. However, as a boat moves closer, the atmosphere begins to change. Waves crash harder against the hull. The air feels heavier in a way that is difficult to explain. There is no harbor, no houses, and no signs of human presence. Only thick forest, sharp rocks, and an unusual silence covering the entire area. The reason this island has been closed off for decades lies in its extreme and rare ecosystem. Over time, isolation has allowed dangerous wildlife to develop at an unusually high density within a very small area. This has turned the island into one of the highest biological risk zones in South America. Experts have described that just a few steps into the inner part of the island can place a person in sudden emergency situations. There are no quick escape routes, no immediate medical assistance, and communication signals are almost non-existent. In this environment, even a small mistake can lead to serious consequences. Because of this, the Brazilian government has enforced a complete ban on civilian access. Only a limited number of specially approved biological research teams are allowed to land, and only after strict training. When entering the island, they must wear full protective gear, carry survival tracking equipment, and always work in groups. Each mission is limited in time, as no one is allowed to stay for long. What unsettles many researchers is not just the danger, but the feeling of being constantly watched. Some have shared that while moving through the forest, they felt as if they were being observed from every direction, from the treetops, from cracks in the rocks, from dark areas where sunlight never reaches. Today, the island remains silent off the coast, completely separated from the modern world. No visitors, no new footprints, only nature continuing to grow in its own way. It stands as a reminder that not every land is meant to be conquered. There are places where humans must step back and allow nature to remain in full control. Location 2. The Chernobyl Restricted Zone, Ukraine. If the island in Brazil is a warning from nature, then Chernobyl is the mark left by one of the greatest industrial mistakes in modern history. The reason tens of thousands of residents were forced to abandon their homes in an extremely short time came from a serious technical failure at a nearby energy complex. During a test operation, the control system suffered a chain malfunction, causing the internal reaction to exceed manageable limits. Within minutes, a dangerous residual release began spreading into the surrounding environment. At first, the residents noticed nothing unusual. The sky remained blue. The air was calm. Daily life continued as normal. But what was spreading was an invisible force that could not be seen, smelled, or immediately felt. When specialists realized the severity of the situation, authorities were forced to make an urgent decision. All residents in the area had to be evacuated. Loudspeakers echoed through the city, announcing that people only needed to bring essentials for a few days. Many families locked their doors, leaving behind pets, belongings, and even unfinished meals, believing they would soon return. What they were not clearly told was that the area would not be safe for human life for a very long time. The lingering impact in the air, soil, and water made the environment unstable for the human body. Remaining in the area meant facing long-term health risks that could not be fully controlled. And so, within just a few hours, a once busy city became completely empty. Streets lost the sound of traffic. Apartments no longer glowed with evening lights. After the severe incident in the late 20th century, the entire surrounding area was sealed off and turned into a restricted zone. Today, Chernobyl feels like a city frozen in time. Abandoned apartment blocks, dust-covered classrooms, hospitals with empty beds that were never used again. Clocks in many rooms seem to have stopped at the moment people were forced to leave in haste. What makes this place haunting is not movement, but total silence. A city, once full of life, now holds only the sound of wind striking broken windows. Chernobyl has become a symbol of the cost humanity pays when technology moves beyond control. Location 3. The global seed vault, Norway. In another part of the world, deep beneath the permanent ice of Norway, there exists a structure often described as the safeguard of humanity. This is the global seed vault. The facility is built deep inside a mountain, protected by massive steel doors weighing several tons and a highly secured defense system. Inside, millions of seeds from across the earth are carefully stored. This place is not meant for the present, but as a backup for the future. In the event that the planet experiences a large-scale crisis, this vault could become the key to restoring ecosystems. The idea that humanity felt the need to create a backup version of Earth reflects intelligence, yet it also sends a chill down the spine. Because it means humans have seriously considered the possibility of losing the world they currently live in. Location 4. North Sentinel Island, India. In the middle of the Indian Ocean, there is an island where time seems to have stopped. North Sentinel Island is home to a tribe that has lived completely isolated from the modern world for thousands of years. There is no electricity, no technology, no signs of modern civilization. The Indian government has enforced a total ban on approaching this island. Not out of fear of the people who live there, but because of a deep understanding of how fragile the biological balance is. The community on North Sentinel has survived for thousands of years in total isolation, without contact with the modern world. The isolation has allowed them to endure, but it has also made them extremely vulnerable to outside influence. For modern humans, certain microorganisms may cause only mild symptoms, but for a community that has never encountered them, the consequences could spread rapidly and become uncontrollable. A single handshake, a close breath, or an object left behind on the beach could carry invisible elements capable of disrupting the entire biological system of the island. Experts have warned that if uncontrolled contact were to occur, the small community could face a serious population decline in a very short time. And once the population falls below a critical threshold, their culture, language, and thousands of years of history could disappear forever. For this reason, the ban is not just a legal barrier, but the final protective line shielding an ancient civilization from the modern world. Patrol ships maintain a strict distance. Helicopters are forbidden from flying low. Any unauthorized approach is immediately stopped. North Sentinel has become one of the very few places on the planet where humans must accept their own limits. A place where respect matters more than curiosity, and where non-interference is the only way to protect life. The common thread among all these forbidden places is not monsters or supernatural stories. It is human limitation. When science advances too fast, when nature pushes back, when civilization reaches a dangerous boundary. Each location serves as a quiet reminder that not every door should be opened, not every secret needs to be uncovered. And perhaps the most unsettling thought is not the places already restricted, but the fact that there are still areas out there that humans have never fully understood, lands without names, spaces where maps remain blank. If one day these restrictions were lifted, would we truly be ready to face what lies beyond them?